Welcome to Red V TV, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2025 season as we continue our build-up to Saints Super League campaign. And we've hit the top 25. And with 25 days to go, Kevin.
How many times can we say 25? Once more at least. It's our number 25. It's Tee Ritson. And Tee is sponsored by Autism Friendly Caravans.
He has to go one better than 25. He's made 26 appearances. Tee is sponsored by Autism Friendly Caravans. Alan Berry, he has caravans over in Blackpool, and their caravans are designed especially for children and adults with autism. There are sensory toys and other activities which are a must at an autism friendly caravan. Doing really good business, really good work. I'm back in the club once again.
Yeah, excellent. Always back in the club. Great stuff from Alan and the team up there.
Yeah, he's back. He's helped us a couple of times with raffle prizes as well, hasn't he? For some of our forum events, really appreciated.
Top fella. Top fella.
Tee Ritson then Kev.
Yeah.
Saints website have him as one of the most electrifying players to watch in Super League. It's just a shame his try tally doesn't match.
Yeah. Have we played a style that's lent itself to wingers? I suppose we'll cover that when we have a look at our other wingers as well. Um, it's just not happened for him, has it? I mean, look, this time last year we were talking about how we thought he would start the season, how we thought he would be the man in possession of the shirt, and it just wasn't the case. And while he got 10 games last year in a series of he got one, then he got three in a row, then he got six in a row, it's just not worked for him. The move just hasn't worked. That is sport. And it's a shame because the Saints website has him as clocking the same speed as Super League's fastest speed. Um, and it's a shame because I think there was a lot of almost outside pressure. I think a lot of fans wanted the signing. I think a lot of fans were expecting to see a winger who would be able to rip people apart and go outside them with pace. And there was a lot of noise from inside the club saying how quick he was. But for one reason or another, he's just not really had that, I think, going forward. He's not had a lot of opportunities. He's had a couple, but not many. And yeah, it just hasn't worked out. It just hasn't worked out.
3 tries in 2023 in 16 appearances, 10 appearances last season, and no tries. You can't have a winger on the nudie run.
Yeah, true,
And
true.
do you know what? You
But
can say, do we necessarily play did we necessarily play a style suited to him or suiting to wingers? No, but it didn't stop John Bennison getting over the try line.
well, was it the game after T had come out the team and John Bennison got a hat trick?
Yes.
Was it against Cap?
Yeah.
And I think the third one, we had to play the ball over on because when we're stood in the west, we had to play the ball over on the right hand side. And I said, Benison's going in here. And you could just see it happening where we give the ball a bit of a slung it through the hands. Benison goes in at the corner. You can guarantee Tee Ritson's thinking, why has that not happened when I'm on the field? What's gone on there that I've missed out
Yeah.
on that opportunity? Yeah, Benno got what did he get? 7 in 17 last year,
Yeah.
hat trick in one game. So if you take even if you take that out, it's 4 in
16.
16.
1 in 4.
Yeah, 1 in 4.
Not great
It's a
either,
tough one,
but
isn't it?
better.
No, but better, yeah, yeah. And seven. Listen, and that's doing him the disservice of taking three perfectly good tries and he scored in one game out. You think of like the Warrington game where John Bennison's gone over in the corner right at the end. It's just a shame that it hasn't worked out
If
for
if
T.
T Ritson
Um,
if T Ritson was the answer, Kev, then Lewis Murphy wouldn't have been signed.
yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think that's fair. Um, it wouldn't surprise me, and I think it wouldn't surprise me to see T kind of not pull on a first team shirt this year.
I
Um,
I honestly don't see where he gets games. Unfortunately for
yeah,
me, you've got Kyle Felt, you've got Lewis Murphy, you've got John Bennison ahead of him. I think potentially if you needed Harry Robertson to go and play a game on the wing as fourth choice, he could do that. You've got Deon Sambu, who might need a game or two if you were that desperately short and looking for people. The only time I see Tee Ritson playing this season is in the Challenge Cup third round, if he's still at the club at that point.
yeah. I think I was thinking about this before we started filming and what a good season for T would be, and I think it's to get his career back on track. Now, again, and it's just an opinion, but it's the same as yours. You think that other players have overtaken him. He might be having an absolute wow of a pre-season. He really might, but just with the fact that John Bennison is the man in possession, that Lewis Murphy's been brought in, you don't really see the pathway to the first team for him unless he does something either spectacular or we have an absolute glut of injuries right on the edges.
I do need to ask the question, Kev, and you don't need to provide the answer
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure you may well shrug your shoulders. What was the thinking behind offering him a new contract?
Yeah, I don't know. Cheap, bulks out your squad, salary cap, sport. Thought they saw something in him. I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I'm trying to put ideas, and hopefully people in the comments will take some at them or give us their own ideas and tell us why. But in a salary cap sport, you do have to have the players who will bulk out your squad, but that's not necessarily the right thing for players.
Yeah,
And
I
I don't
I
think
thought
we
I thought last season, Kev, it'd be him or John Bennison who stay, one of the two. I didn't I didn't see a
yeah.
circumstance where you gave both of them new deals. And I
Well,
still
it was
feel you need both in your
T
squad.
was on a two T got a 2 year deal, didn't it? And then John's just got another one. So he got a 2 year deal at the start of last season or the end of the season before. So that's he got a 2 year, but
Nice.
it's almost the case of did we when we made that decision, we made it earlier and thought he's a great lad to have around the squad. He's on peanuts really compared to some of the other players in the squad. He fills a position where we've got a winger and he can come in and do a job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think I do. I've got a lot. I've got a lot of sympathy with T because sometimes his sport moves just don't work.
Yeah. Sorry, he signed the contract October 2023, and then the fact that we've then retained John Bennison tells me you put John Bennison in overtaking him. And
Yeah,
if you're T Ritson and you've seen John Bennison re-sign to a new deal, then you've seen Lewis Murphy signed. Are you knocking on the coach's door and going, where do I stand?
I think you've got to have that conversation. I think he'd be doing himself a disservice if he's not having that conversation. If he's not saying, well, what is the script for me? Am I going to be over at Halifax every week? So I'm getting regular games and I can put myself in the shop window for when my contract's up. Am I in your thoughts for a start? Am I pushing for that, or am I that far down the pecking order that you know what I need to go and play a dozen games at Halifax to get me stock back up? That you then look at me and think, hang on, he's ripping it apart for them. He's scored in a dozen games. He scored 15 tries. He needs to be in my thinking, in my reckoning. I don't want him at Halifax. I want him here. I think he'd be doing himself a disservice if he's not asked that question.
I see him lining up at Salford.
Well, I say I'm not going to break any big confidentiality rules when I say we're filming this day or two in advance. Um, but I don't think it'd be a bad move if they do end up having a fire sale and he could get regular game time because at this stage of his career, he's not a young lad. He's not someone who you think has got another 10 years playing. He's not like someone who was brought in at 20. He needs game time. He needs game time and he needs to get out there and kind of show what he can do. Because I'm sure the lad backs himself to be a Super League winger. And he got the move to a massive club. As I say, in sports, sometimes things just don't work. We've seen it with our football clubs. We've seen it with Saints over the years. We've seen it with numerous different clubs. It just doesn't always work. And unfortunately for T, I feel like this is one that next year we won't be saying number 25 Tee Ritson,
No.
unfortunately.
Listen, he turned 29 a couple of weeks ago. Out of contract at the end of the year. He's not going to be at Saints next season. If he wants to be a Super League player when he turns 30, he needs to play somewhere this season at a higher level than going out on dual reg to
Yeah,
Swinton like last year.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? I completely back him. If he goes out and he finds himself a loan move, a transfer, if he goes out and backs himself, then I don't think he goes with anyone's like, oh yeah, go on, good riddance, you got. I think he goes with our blessing in the fact of, yeah, you've come in, it's not worked. We've not heard anything bad about him. You look at some of the bad apples that we've had in squads in the past,
He's not one of
and
them.
you don't hear that about him. He 100% not, 100% not.
Yeah. Um, so we await to see what develops over the coming weeks. Right, that's number 25 done and dusted. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp, as always, with another player preview. Catch you soon.